The big movie coming out on May 24th is Aladdin the Remake.
Yeah, this can suck my monkey.
Welcome to SinCast, presented by CinemaSins.
This episode of SinCast is brought to you by Mubi, a curated online cinema streaming exceptional films from around the globe. Each day, Mubi introduces a new gem and you have 1 month to watch it. From cult classics to acclaimed masterpieces, every film is hand-selected by experts. Try Mubi free for 30 days at mubi.com/cinemasins. That's mubi.com/cinemasins for your extended free trial. All right, everybody. Welcome to the SinCast. This is Chris Atkinson from CinemaSins, joined as always by the voice of CinemaSins, Jeremy Scott.
Yowza!
And from Music Video Sins, Barrett Share.
Howdy doody.
Yes.
Ooh.
It's howdy doody time.
Didn't even pronounce that all the way.
Yeah. We're going to be doing a summer preview today.
That's right, baby.
No, I don't need a Pokemon.
What about a world-class detective?
You ain't never had a friend like me.
What is it with you and Spider-Man?
What, he looks out for the neighborhood, has a dope suit, and I really respect him. Sup, dickwad?
Anybody accidentally kills anybody in a fight, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter.
Can't wait.
All the movies that are coming out from May to August.
Not counting Endgame.
Yes. Endgame, as we're talking here, will have come out.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody will have seen it, and it will have already made $1 billion worldwide,
Yes.
probably.
What? I don't think I ever asked you about this, but what do you estimate? And I can cut this if it's wildly off.
I can give you an estimate based on what Star Wars The Force Awakens made.
Okay.
You mean total estimate?
Like no, for this weekend.
Oh, then I would say $280 million.
It's definitely
Wow,
going
that's
to beat beat Force Awakens.
And that's number one for first weekend, right?
Yes. Force Awakens on opening weekend made $247 million domestically.
Mm-hmm.
This one will make more than that. Because they're already getting theaters. Theaters are already deciding to open up for 24 hours.
Yeah,
for this.
4 days straight.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And with the easy, touch system that you have now, where it's like, oh, that theater's open, you just put an Avengers Endgame in.
Yeah.
And so that it's going to happen. It's going to beat it. I wouldn't be surprised if it made $300 million domestic.
Yep.
This weekend. If
Wow.
it makes more than that, I wouldn't be.
I'm going to see it twice this weekend.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
and so is a lot of people. and so yeah, I think it will hit 300 million. If it doesn't, it's going to be like what Jeremy says. It'll be 280.
Wow.
Somewhere around there. And then worldwide, I think it has a real chance. If it's, I don't know, is it all coming out on the same day, or has it already come out?
Oh, a lot of Marvel movies come out in the UK ahead of us.
Yeah.
But I think we would have heard all weekend if it opened somewhere else.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think we would have heard that it had come out. Right now, Box Office Mojo doesn't have any foreign box office for this, so I'm assuming that everybody's basically getting it at the same time. I think it has a chance of possibly even getting close to $1 billion over the weekend worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we're excited, right? I was talking to Chris.
what?
I'm like super excited about
This is the most excited I've ever been for an MCU movie.
Me too.
And it's both because I think I'm going to enjoy it, because I think a lot of the things that hold me back from loving an MCU movie are not going to be hang-ups in this movie. They can do whatever they want.
All right. Yeah.
And so that excites me. I'm kind of feeling good about a couple of my predictions.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll, of course, this is now airing after the films come out, so feel free to leave a comment telling me how wrong I was. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm pumped. I think it's going to have a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
Just for reference sake, Infinity War made close to $700 million on its opening weekend.
Holy shit! I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, because it made its weekend gross for the first weekend was $382 million across the other territories, and it made Well, actually, hold on. Opening weekend was 257. So actually, Infinity War has the record. It's by 10 million. So it made more than I said it did. It made 640, 650, somewhere around there. It may not hit $1 billion. That's a huge jump from one movie in 1 year to the next. But I think it'll get into the 700 to 800 million easily.
That's wild. Well,
it's gonna be cray.
God bless them. I mean, they played this as perfectly as he could ever plan a movie series. Right?
Well, and what's interesting to me is, like, I wonder how long it's going to be before anyone trying to copy what they've done actually comes close.
Yeah,
because the early efforts not coming so close, and they just had a plan and stuck to it, and I think it's paying off.
And had the right people in charge too.
Yeah, I think it's paying off in quality of film. I think it's paying off in fans loving it and fan service, and it's obviously paying off at the bank.
Yeah,
so
yeah. God bless them.
More power to them.
So Avengers will still be crushing it on May 3rd, but here are some movies that are coming out. It looks like maybe the biggest one on May 3rd is Longshot, the Charlize Theron, Seth Rogen movie, where it's basicly Knocked Up without the knocked up, right?
Yeah, he's like a speechwriter for her or a screenwriter.
Yeah, she used to babysit him, and she hires him to be a speechwriter because she feels like he knows her or something like that. And then he says, "Well, we need to get to know each other," and it becomes kind of like dates when they're going around and just talking about stuff. And I like these two people a lot. And it looks funny. I just, May 3rd, you're really just burying it.
I guess so. I mean, the trailers are very good, especially the Red Band trailer.
Yeah.
Charlize Theron, I guess, has she ever had a comedic role to really shine in?
I mean, I think she did in Trial and Error, but that was a long time ago.
Wowzers.
Yeah, but she looks hilarious in this movie.
Yeah.
And it seems like they've dialed back Seth Rogen's schlubbiness in his character, even though they're talking about like there's no way that these two could get together. But the Red Band trailer ends with that shot of them about to have sex, and she's like, "We can do whatever you want to, but at the end, smack me on the ass and choke me a little."
I haven't seen the Red Band. I need to see this.
And he cuts to Seth Rogen's face. He's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Well, and there's a whole thing too where she's like, "What is your favorite position?" And he's like, "Oh, come on, blah blah blah." And he's like, "I can't talk about that." And he's like, "Come on, grow up," and all that. And then I think he says something or whatever, and he goes, "What about you?" And she's like, "Oh, don't be gross."
So yeah, I think the way the trailers are, the movie could be garbage. And you're right, the release date is weird, but it looks charming as hell from the trailers.
Yeah,
I think it played at a festival. It might have been South by Southwest, but it got good buzz at a festival. I remember reading, but yeah, I'll probably wait and see.
Yeah,
yeah. It's counter programming essentially. Even though you're not coming out the same weekend, you're still counter because the Endgame will in its second week is going to be what some movies wish they could make in their opening week.
Yeah.
So, that seems to be the biggest one. Then there is, I have to decide. I think Ugly Dolls is probably the next biggest one after that. Animated film about a bunch of ugly dolls.
And this is a line of toys. Like, it was right around when my son was born in 2008. They started making these plush toys. I think for like charity, like it was for some sort of foundation, but they made them intentionally ugly and that kind of thing, and that was their allure. And now, not only did they animate it, but they got pop music stars to voice almost all of the characters.
Yeah, Kelly Clarkson's in one.
Kelly Clarkson, Blake Shelton.
Yeah.
Like, it's just everything about this looks not good.
Yeah, I'm not. None of this. I mean, the characters themselves, even though there's some differences between the characters, really the only thing that stands out when you're watching a trailer that's going by this fast is, oh, they're all different colors.
Yep.
But they have like different little things that are part of them that make them different. But nothing stood out in this whole thing. there's a joke here and a joke there, very knowing type of stuff. The Blake Shelton character says something about, I love, was it appropriate naming or literal naming?
Oh yeah. Where it's
what about you, mumble cat or whatever? And the cat's like, blah, 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 and then like, okay, that's pretty funny, but
I mean, it's going to be Trolls. It's going to be fucking pick an animated movie out of a hat, and it looks the exact same.
Why don't they just make one of this kind of movie and put it out every year for the 4-year-olds of the world, and give peace to the rest of us?
I agree.
I don't know. I think
because we're going to have to end up sitting this.
Well, I think the thing is about once families have seen the one movie or whatever. There's hardly anything else that ever comes out for families a lot. I know that you probably run into this a lot, don't you?
A lot. We'll look down and be like, is there anything besides maybe like an MCU movie or something like that that's appropriate for the kid to go see? Even though he's getting up to where he can see more, but yeah, for a while there, it was like a vast wasteland.
The most annoying thing as I looked at this summer was the movies that look geared towards families, but they've had to dodge a lot of big movies over the summer, and they're coming out right back when they go back into school, like when kids are going back to school. These movies for them are coming out, and it feels like to me you could still come out with something like this up against a Spider-Man or something like that, and you'd still do just fine.
Yeah,
but who knows? Then the Intruder. It's that shot of Dennis Quaid standing by the tree still makes me laugh.
Well, now there's another. Did you watch rewatch the trailer?
Yeah.
There's another one where it pans over and she doesn't see anything. And now
she's in the kitchen?
Yeah, now it pans back and he's right over her shoulder.
He's got this evil look on his face. Like it's the most evil Dennis Quaid possible.
I can't wait. I'm not going to see it in the theater, but
definitely
I'm
going to
very
end up
excited to
watching
see
this
for all the wrong reasons.
One of my big crushes, Megan Good, is in this.
Oh yeah,
love me some Megan Good. And then Michael Ealy plays her husband, and you know what? He can just get the hell out.
What was Michael Ealy in recently?
I don't know. I know he's in one of those underworld Resident Evil movies.
Nice.
Anyway, I guess I haven't seen him recently.
But yeah, they gloss over the reason in the trailer. It looks like they purposefully don't tell you why he keeps coming back to the house. And I have a feeling that because in the trailer they say his wife died and we think that it's suicide and everything, that he actually did it, and that they stumbled on something that proves that he did it, and that's why he keeps coming back.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
That is absolutely the plot of that movie.
Yeah. But it's so purposeful in the trailer. They're like, I feel bad for that guy. And then the next thing, like, why was they say something like, is it right after he gets on the tractor or something? Maybe he's out there mowing the grass. Or
yeah.
Why is he doing that? And it just kind of when you watch the trailer, just when they get to the point of the reason why he's doing this, which is early in the trailer, let's just skip over that because the reason is, I guarantee you, it's like, they found the bloody fingerprints.
That's right.
And they don't know what it is yet, but. Anyway, there's a movie like this every year, it feels like.
Yeah, Home Invasion.
A Hand Rocks the Cradle type.
I like these movies. I like these types of movies.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Then there's one other movie. This is called El Chicano. It looks like almost like a superhero movie, but it's like it's a guy and he and his brother are in this neighborhood. It's a bad neighborhood. And there's this drug kingpin in jail that's like calling all the shots or whatever. And this guy's brother dies, so he becomes a vigilante and he starts wearing masks and stuff. It doesn't look anything like a superhero movie, but it feels like all the things that a superhero movie do. Like somebody died. Okay, I'm going to become a vigilante. I'm going to wear a mask. He doesn't have any powers. He's just beating ass and shooting guns.
All right.
But George Lopez is in it.
George Lopez is having his Liam Neeson moment.
It's George Lopez is playing like a detective. He's not the main guy.
That'd be awesome.
It would be awesome though.
Just cracking one-liners.
But I believe this is the type. This is a movie that comes out because there's an underserved audience, and that's to make a movie like this. I hope it does well. The following week, the biggest movie that I see on here is Detective Pikachu. Ryan Reynolds voices, and what do you think?
This is the line. Like, Pokemon is the line that tells me I'm old. I don't know anything about Pokemon. Nothing. I know it has been a movie, a show, a card game, a video game, and now a movie. That's literally all I know. But I also know it's going to make $1 gajillion because it's huge everywhere. And everybody who's 5-10 years younger than me and down is obsessed with it.
Does this, from the trailer, does it look interesting to you?
I didn't even look at the trailer because I'm not going to see this movie. I don't know what this is. I mean, if you all come back to me and say, no, it's great, and it explains Pokemon, and you want to go in with 10 years of fucking Pokemon knowledge, then I'll watch it. But I have a feeling it's going to require a lot of knowledge that, honestly, most people have. I just don't.
Be interesting.
It looks like it's very self-referential. So, I do think you might need to know some things about Pokemon. But there's also Ryan Reynolds, who's such a dynamic comedic performer that... there's things in there that I'm like, I don't like Pokemon, but I might watch this movie because...
Is he in it as a human or is he doing a voice?
He's Pikachu.
Yeah, I don't even know if that means good things or bad things. Pikachu is a good guy? Is he a detective?
Well, in this movie...
I thought they were all like gladiators.
He's trying to be a detective, and he's trying to find this kid's father. I think that's the main story to this whole thing.
And this kid is the only one that can hear him.
And it's the kid from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh, wow. God. I've purged that movie from my brain.
Me too.
But it's so good, guys. But yeah, it's interesting. I think it may make some money. I'm just not sure how much of an appeal this has. It's like Pokemon is a worldwide phenomenon. How many people are going to watch this movie? Because the first movie that came out, which was in 98, 99, did decent. It made $80 million here in the US. But it's become bigger since then.
That Nintendo game made it like explode.
Right. So it'll be interesting because in the self-referential humor and all that, I don't know if it'll do Deadpool type money, but it might do half that.
I'm like you. I know nothing. Well, I know very little about Pokemon, even though my kid was into it for a while. But I do know, like, the Pokemon Go thing was a fucking
it wasn't Nintendo, was it? I was wrong. Was that a mobile game or was it a Nintendo?
That was a mobile game.
Okay.
Now there has been a Nintendo game.
Oh, okay.
that was Aces too. But I mean, I think this is so ingrained into the society, and you're right, below our age line. That I think probably it'll be pretty successful.
A few pop culture areas that I'm just 5 to 7 years too old, like SpongeBob.
Oh yeah,
everyone 8 years younger than me and down, it quotes that like I quote The Simpsons, and knows all about. I don't know shit about SpongeBob. I really don't. I don't.
It's funny.
I've got finite space in my brain. I'm not going to fill it up with SpongeBob. I mean, The Simpsons are up there already.
Yeah, that's right.
God damn it.
Then the Hustle, which is the Dirty Rotten Scoundrel / bedtime story remake.
This movie can eat it.
I like Anne Hathaway a lot. I wish she would make better movies.
Yeah, she does. She just occasionally does one of these, like this or a Bride Wars, or she likes to let her hair down every once in a while and just get into a stupid movie.
How old is Anne Hathaway?
37.
Really?
I think
34.
I think she was born in 82.
She might have been born in 82.
Well, no.
But I don't know if she's had her birthday yet, but I'll say 37 and
she is 36, but you are right, 82. So
nice.
November of 82.
All right, you still get the gold star.
I did get this. I get the gold star.
That's right.
Rebel Wilson is basically the Steve Martin, and Anne Hathaway is basically the Michael Caine.
This movie like, I may be in the minority, but this trailer is one of the least funny trailers for a comedy that I've seen in a long time.
I agree. And then there's some scenes in here that they've ripped completely straight from Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and then they go and do their own thing in a few things. And the when they do their own thing part is it's just I'm not feeling it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, me neither. I'm not going. Nope.
Then there is Poms, which is older ladies compete in a cheerleading competition.
Had you heard about this movie?
It's
before?
not a pomegranate juice movie?
No.
That'd be funny.
That'd be awesome, though.
So that's like Calendar Girls for cheerleaders?
Yes.
Yeah, this whole thing, this whole setup looked like Calendar Girls to me.
Calendar Girls is just fine. Let's just watch that again.
Yeah, this is Diane Keaton, Pam Grier, and Jackie Weaver.
And you have in Calendar Girls Helen Mirren, man.
Yeah,
baby. She's pretty sexy in that movie.
There's no need for this.
Yeah.
No need for this.
But yeah, it's a thing where it's one of those things where they have the loophole in the rules because it says 18 plus, and they're like, we're 18 plus 60 or whatever.
So it's old school meets Calendar Girls.
Yeah. So they go into a cheerleading competition, and you see like Diane Keaton in cheerleading outfit and Pam Grier and. Yeah.
I mean, Diane Keaton has earned the right to do whatever the fuck she wants. It doesn't mean I have to watch it.
Exactly.
I was going to, when I started watching trailers the other day, I was going to try to do some of the limited, but there's so many, like, I just bring this up for this week and never any other weeks, but because I did the legwork on this one. But there's a movie called All Is True that Kenneth Branagh is directing where he's William Shakespeare.
Oh, that's the Branagh one. Okay, I got you.
And so like he's trying to come out with his last work before he's retired. And then there's another one called Tolkien, which Nicholas Hoult plays J.R.R. Tolkien, and it looks like kind of almost Shakespeare and Love-ish, like where he got all of his inspiration for Lord of the Rings and wow, that type of thing.
Okay, well, we've seen that movie a few times too, right?
Yeah, inspiration for a beloved author, or Finding Neverland was basically
the
this,
C.S.
right?
Lewis one.
Yeah.
I like Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah,
lot.
I mean, there's a lot that appeals to me. It's Fox Searchlight did Tolkien, but yeah,
Nicholas Hoult was my favorite thing about The Favorite.
He was awesome in The Favorite.
Like, he blew my mind in that movie.
Yeah.
But this, by the way, I did read this morning a headline that Tolkien's family has not endorsed this movie.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Which is in stride with pretty much what they always say. I don't even think they endorsed the trilogy.
I am excited a little bit about All Is True, though, because Kenneth Branagh should continue doing Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Or Shakespeare derivatives. Like, that's his wheelhouse.
Also has Judi Dench and Ian McKellen in it.
Well, wow.
If you, by the way, and if I go down this list and you've run across some limited that we need to talk about, then we can do that. But this is where I stopped because I was like, geez, I'm going to spend the entire day watching trailers.
Yeah.
I basically did all the A24s are on the list, and I explored those.
Well, yeah, if I missed something, just let me know. May 17th, A Dog's Journey, which is another one of the A Dog's movies.
So A Dog's Purpose, and A Dog's Journey,
A Dog's Way Home, and A Dog's Way Home, all are connected. It's the same author. This is the W. Bruce Cameron who wrote these books.
Is it the same dog?
No.
Not like War Dog?
No. But it's another one of those. I feel like. I feel like this movie, A Dog's Journey, is trying to touch on reincarnation because the dog that they show at the beginning of the trailer gets old, and then like there's a puppy that comes in like halfway through the trailer, and he's talking like that older dog.
I've seen that. Doesn't it start with like a caveman and a dog? Like
no, that was Alpha.
Yeah, that came out last
Fuck
year.
Me. Yeah. We've got too many dog movies.
Too many
fucking dog
and
movies.
too many movies starting a dog something. But yeah, I think it's sort of a reincarnation thing because the Dennis Quaid's in this too. And there's a scene where a light shows up on him and he's standing by a tree real menacingly.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, it's got Josh Gad is the voice of the dog, and then you have Dennis Quaid, you have Marg Helgenberger, Abby Ryder Fortson, who's the Paul Rudd's daughter in Ant-Man, is in it. But yeah, it's a dog. Like the dog is, I think it's the same dog reincarnated, and he's like trying to get Dennis Quaid's attention. Hey, I'm the same dog that you from before, and he can't figure out. And I guess by the end of it, because Dennis Quaid is old at the end of this trailer.
So it's a frequency dog.
Yeah, it's frequency dog.
I'm bound to determine.
I'm a firefighter. The big movie that's coming out on May 17th is John Wick 3 Parabellum.
Let's do it. I wish we could be done after this.
Yeah.
I think we will be done.
I don't think so.
You
I
don't
think
think
they're
so?
going to spin off a whole goddamn universe. I actually read an interview with the director where he quite cheerily said he'd be happy making John Wick movies for the rest of his life.
Well, because he's a stunt man, right? Like
I
he
don't
was
know.
Keanu's stunt double
Okay.
for The Matrix and for all that stuff. So this is right in his wheelhouse. Like
Sure.
I only want to make Raid John Wick style
That's, I mean,
movies.
I'm not trying to hate on John Wick.
No, sure.
I felt like the second one was a step back in terms of overall quality by way of adding more insanity. And this third one looks like they just mainlined insanity for a few hours. And I'll watch it. I'll see what I might like it.
Yeah, it's he's excommunicado, and every assassin under the sun is trying to kill him in this. Looks like the main baddie is Asia Kate Dillon, which if you ever watched Billions or Orange is the New Black, they prefer they pronouns.
A very good performer.
Yeah,
Yes, I am a fan
yeah,
of them.
yeah. Very, very good. Appears to be the main baddie in John Wick 3, so I'll be down for that. Then also we have The Sun Is Also a Star, which is another one of these. It's not a John Green novel. It's actually Nicola Yoon who did Everything.
Yeah.
It's got that same vibe as all of those movies. It's a guy who's trying to make this girl who doesn't believe in love fall in love with him in basically one day. There are some notable leads in this. Charles Melton from Riverdale is the main guy.
Oh, yeah, I know
And Yara Shahidi of Blackish is in this.
Okay.
It's going to be, it'll do the same as all those Fault in Our Stars, everything, Cat in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon movies.
Little Boy Blue.
One thing I thought was interesting on the limited here was that there are two movies about people on death row who are wrongfully accused or get off, something like that. One's called Trial by Fire that Edward Zwick directed. It has Laura Dern in it. And it's based on a true story where they didn't when they had evidence that was for him that was suppressed, basically. And so Laura Dern is the investigator that's going around trying to find all the evidence for him and everything. And then there's another one called The Meanest Man in Texas. Same sort of issue there. I almost wondered if they were the same person or something.
Speaking of Laura Dern, did you see that the Maltons got her for Malton Fest?
For Citizen Ruth,
The director of Citizen Ruth
Alexander
and Laura
Payne.
Dern are going to show up and do a talk and watch the movie with people.
Alexander Payne. That's going to be great.
Yeah, that's like makes me want to go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, man.
May 24th.
I'm sorry, there's one in this same week here. It's called The Souvenir.
Okay, I had that written down.
This is the A24 release for this month. It's got Tilda Swinton in it, who's in a lot of these A24 movies. It also has her daughter, who is
Honor Swinton Byrne.
Honor Swinton Byrne. And
that sounds like a skin condition.
Oh my God, that'd be so awesome. All right, we got your test back. So it looks like you have Honor Swinton Byrne.
That's one of the strangest names.
Classic case.
I'm like, oh no, doctor, anything but that.
Oh my God! This. So I watched the trailer for this. This looks awesome. It looks very cool. It's her playing a younger woman, obviously, that's falling in love with this older man, and the dynamics between those two and with her real mom, her real life mom, playing her mom in this movie looks really, really good.
Yeah, that trailer starts off with him and her in bed, and he's like, you have a whole foot over there by the bed. Get over, like move over a little bit. And she's like, I don't have any room over here. I am literally on the edge of the wall here. But yeah, that did look interesting. May 24th, a movie that has no trailer, but is apparently a big, almost Memorial Day release is Ad Astra.
What the fuck is this movie?
Right?
Have you heard of it?
No.
This is Brad Pitt. This is Ruth Negga. This is Tommy Lee Jones. It's a space movie about Brad Pitt going to rescue his presumably dead father.
Yes, rescuing his dad out in space, and he finds something finds something that's going to harm the Earth, and he needs to tell Earth about it or whatever. But there's not one trailer.
Then doesn't that mean it's going to be ass?
It's either
it might be ass.
It's either what I think is that it's not. There's no chance in hell that it's coming out on that week, or it's Passengers.
Well, that was what I was thinking, because remember, Passengers didn't have a trailer
Until like a month before it released.
And it was the first trailer that came out was dog shit. Like there was nothing. And then I was like, there's no way this movie's coming out. And then it did.
It fucking came out, man.
It did, and it actually did okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm guessing like within the next week or something, probably today while we were talking,
that's true.
They'll have a trailer out for this.
I mean, I like everything about this movie. The idea of like Brad Pitt as like an intrepid spaceman going off to save his crusty old dad.
Mm-hmm.
But this does not bode well. I don't think.
No, it really doesn't. You know, this close to the release,
and it's
they haven't
Fox
seen a trailer.
too.
Yeah. The big movie coming out.
Oh, wait. That could be it.
Why is that?
Fox just sold to Disney. Maybe the marketing department wasn't.
I mean, it's coming out next
but still,
month, though.
you should
know?
at least move the release date if there's a problem there.
I don't know. I just feel like there are
Especially
probably
going
some
up
films
against
that
this week.
fell through the cracks in that transition.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, this is a big crumb.
I don't know. I'm just saying, my gut feeling. I mean, yeah, I want to see it, but it still sounds a little bit hot garbage.
Yeah.
The big movie coming out on May 24th is Aladdin the Remake.
Yeah,
and
this can suck my monkey. And I have a prediction that I hope is true, which is that when's The Lion King? Is that later in the
July?
Yeah.
I think this one's going to struggle. I think The Lion King is going to be gangbusters.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Because I think the main fans want the same, and Lion King looks to be the same,
Mm-hmm.
and Aladdin looks to be, at least in a couple key areas, pretty goddamn different.
Yeah.
Like, did you see the Friend Like Me, the trailer with that like plays a good portion of Will's take on that song?
Yeah.
I'm not digging that at all.
It's not like Robin Williams was a singer or anything, but he was able to stay on pitch and to use his vocal inflections to make that song epic, right?
Yep.
Will Smith doesn't have that.
No.
And look, you took this role. You're going to be compared to this legendary performance. So if it's not up to par, it's going to be derided.
Guy
hopefully.
Ritchie,
Yeah.
of all people.
Guy Ritchie.
Like, I just don't have any faith in this.
I actually wrote in my notes in all caps, Guy Ritchie directed this?
It's a pretty strange choice.
This feels like it might do like Han Solo story business or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
kind of like it did okay, but it wasn't what they were hoping.
Or even the Dumbo one, which I think was ultimately underperformed what Disney hoped.
That's
it would
the
be.
other problem is that Disney decided to sell out on these this year instead of coming out with the one event picture.
Yeah.
They've come out with Dumbo. It'll be 2 months. 2 months for Aladdin and then 2 months for Lion King.
Yep.
And it's almost like they looked at this year and said, well, we're not going to have as many Marvel properties this time. We're not going to have blah, blah, blah. Why don't we come out with a bunch of these?
I think the audience chose ahead of time and chose Lion King for the most part.
Yeah, but there's 3 Marvel movies coming out in pretty quick succession.
Is there
too.
anything coming out after Endgame?
Yeah, well, Far From Home. So you'll have Captain Marvel.
Yeah, but I don't count that for Disney's bottom line, though.
That's true. That is a Sony.
Oh, that's a good point. It is MC. Is that purely Marvel and Sony, or is Disney involved
gets
at all?
Disney gets some
Because
of
they
that.
own Marvel.
Well, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
I
Hey,
thought
there's-
it was Sony got distribution, but Disney Marvel had creative control.
I got you.
So I don't know if Disney made any money on Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they made some.
Well, yes, I'm sure they made plenty. But I mean, direct box office. I don't know if it came from that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because you're right. It's not technically like Disney MCU fare, but it is MCU.
Yeah, it won't be on Disney's profit sheet. It'll and I think with all the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, that the dust up there, and like the fact they just didn't have anything else set up, they must have thought we might need to come out with a bunch of these. I mean, the ones before this have all done gangbusters before Dumbo did gangbusters, and then I think they felt like they could just go all in on those, and I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if they, we're giving studio advice, but imagine if they held off on Lion King at least until like the holidays.
Yeah.
Like,
you know how much that would have slammed?
Yeah, man.
If you put that out like around Christmas or whatever. Of course, they got Star Wars coming out in Christmas, but you come out with it on Thanksgiving or something. I'm sure there's another thing on Thanksgiving. Anyway, yeah, I don't think Aladdin's going to do gangbusters. I think it'll do just fine, but not what they were hoping. Olivia Wilde's debut, Booksmart. We've seen a bunch of trailers for these. That looks pretty funny.
Oh, hell yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in.
Very appealing leads in this. Yep. I just, I'm there for that.
Even do.
Oh yeah, this is not a thing.
The scissoring is not a thing.
Yeah. Booksmart does look really funny. It's funny though. This, and there's another movie coming out in August called Good Boys. That is also very super badass. They both run the Jewel song in that trailer.
Yep.
They both have Will Forte in it.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do think we have reached peak that Run the Jewels song.
Yeah, I think so.
That song's been out for like 2 or 3 years now.
I love it.
Yeah.
And it's been used great a few times, but I think we need to find a new jam.
Yeah. And then finally on May 24th, we have Brightburn. And this is, if you're, instead of a superhero, your bullied kid becomes an evil person.
Mm-hmm. Man, have you seen the trailer for this?
I have.
I'm kind of digging it.
Yeah.
I am too.
Like, when I read about it, I rolled my eyes because it seemed very derivative. Mm-hmm. What if Superman were evil? But then I saw the trailer and I'm digging the vibe. It feels like it's going to have slasher elements almost and actual scares. And I don't know, man. This is one of my sleeper picks. I think it could do well.
Good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It looks good. You have, here's another, it's sort of an interesting thing. Brian Gunn, who's James Gunn's brother, is a writer, and Mark Gunn, who's their cousin, are both on the screenplay. I believe James Gunn is also a producer on this movie. So it's got a lot of Gunn influence. Mm-hmm. So
it's a good time to come out with this movie. I believe he's been reinstated by Disney, hired by WB to do Suicide Squad. So I think it's going to get an audience that just wants to support James Gunn.
Yeah, and turned out to be a really nice marketing strategy because his name was all over the marketing for this
and
this
they
trailer.
made that choice before he'd been hired for Suicide Squad or rehired by Disney. That took cuts, I thought.
Yeah.
May 31st, Godzilla King of the Monsters comes out. And the trailer that I've seen 100 times now, I'm so tired of it.
Did you see there was a brand new one today?
Brand one, oh, Corin, I haven't seen that.
There's like 17 of those monsters.
Oh, yeah.
And the trailer is literally just 2 minutes of smash cuts of monsters fighting each other.
All right.
And I'm like, maybe they took our notes from Godzilla, we want more monsters and less humans, a little too far.
Yeah.
But it does look like some are good, some are evil.
Yeah.
There's a lot of famous fucking people in this movie.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown.
Who else is in this
Vera
movie?
Farmiga's in this. Ice Cube's kid is in this.
Kyle Chandler.
Kyle Chandler's in this.
Are you sure it's Kyle Chandler and not Ron Livingston?
It's Kyle Chandler.
It's definitely Kyle Chandler.
But it looks, I don't know, man. I'm not necessarily.
There's a lot of famous people in Kong Skull Island, too.
There's a lot of famous people in Godzilla. Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
That didn't do it for me. So I just don't, I wonder if I'm just missing the boat here. Feels like everybody's geeking out about this trailer.
I'm not the audience.
There are some shots in there that I'm excited about because it looks like they've they've distanced the camera so that you can see both monsters in the frame coming at each other in certain things. There are some interesting, I would say, by the sort of photography choices, I guess, in this thing. I will want to watch. I will want to see this. I'm not as down on monster movies as you are, but I mean, I'll give this one a shot. I just don't know how many other people in the world are going to give this a shot.
I wonder if it is not the phenomenon. Again, let's talk generations. I think the people that geek out about Godzilla are the people our age and older.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And I don't know that the college age demographic really gives a shit about Godzilla. I don't think they do. Maybe. We'll see.
I don't know.
And they just wrapped principal photography on Godzilla versus Kong, so whether or not this one does well, we're going to get at least one more.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, Kong was a success. Kong Skull Island was a success domestically. 168 million. But, I mean, the foreign was 400 million, right? So they're really depending on the worldwide box office.
And that's fine. Worked for the Pirates franchise for about the last 4 movies they made.
Yep.
Yeah. So at that release date tends to not be very good. It's the week after Memorial Day. Tends not to be very good. So I don't know if it will just do slamming business, but it should do okay. Also on the 31st is Ma, Octavia Spencer.
I can't wait to see this.
I really want to see this.
I think it looks.
Is it a horror movie?
Cool.
Yeah.
It could be like a.
It's almost a single
Suspense.
white female kind of thing too.
Okay.
But Octavia Spencer helps these kids buy alcohol, and then she's like, "Hey, I have a place at my house where you can just do this, and nobody will."
Oh, this was in front of us, wasn't it?
Yes,
it
it
was.
was.
That's right. I thought now that you're explaining it, I have seen this.
It's
trailer.
a great trailer.
And so they go out and party, and then you find out that she's like, I guess, spying on them through their phones, and she's probably like setting up a lot of like, revenge type of things.
Yep.
And
It's like that handbag movie that came out a couple months ago, Gladys or whatever the fuck.
handbag.
You know what I'm talking about? Is it Chloe Grace or is it one of the Fannings? And they like return a handbag some lady left on the subway, but then they form a friendship, but then it turns out that the old lady is creepy and wants to be upset. You guys know what I'm talking about.
I have no
it.
idea what movie you're talking about.
All right, go on, carry on without me. I'll go find my fucking thing.
You know what? Really, honestly, that I think I've heard this, but I don't remember anything about what the movie's called or who's in it.
Movie lady purse subway. I swear people don't know how to Google.
It's true.
Subway. I'm going to get it right away. Greta with Chloe Grace Moritz.
Oh, okay.
I have heard of that title, but I didn't know what
and
it
I
was
literally
about at all.
did Google movie lady purse subway, and Greta is the number one result.
Interesting.
All right.
Did you see it?
No, I just saw the trailer, and it reminds me, now that you're describing Ma more, it's kind of the same kind of a thing. Somebody that's older that seems nice at first, and then it turns out there's something creepy.
This is such a cool concept for a movie, and it looks like, at least in the trailer, it looks like Octavia Spencer's having a fucking blast.
Yeah. The guy who directed The Help directed this movie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Genre switch.
Yeah, Tate Taylor. Who
Must have a good relationship with Octavia Spencer.
I would say so. He also did Get On Up and The Girl on the Train.
I hope there's no poop pie in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there is one extremely disturbing shot at the end of the trailer for Ma where there's two teens passed out, and she's shown to be like posing them and doing things to them. And I'm like, that one like gave me chills.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, man, this movie could go some dark places.
Yikes.
That's where the all-involving teens part of the rating comes into.
Yeah.
Then there's Rocket Man, the biopic of Elton John with Taron Egerton playing.
It's going to do well. It'll get nominated. I'm not going to give a shit.
You think? I don't think it will.
Weird release date for something that's trying to be Bohemian Rhapsody Oscar bait, right?
Yeah.
No. Ray came out in the summer, didn't it?
Oh, you may be right. Yeah.
I think Ray came out in October.
You bastard with your knowledge.
I could be completely freaking wrong too. Don't get it twisted.
I guess what I was saying, I wasn't thinking a release date But all that I've read about this is about Taron Egerton and how great he is in this movie, and I feel like that's the kind of performance that people are going to be talking about.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those where he does such a great impression of Elton John, we think he's doing acting, like Ray.
Yeah. Ray came out October 29th,
Bastard.
2004.
Knowledge.
So that's the end of May. Is Endgame still number one by the end of this month?
Yeah, I haven't heard a contender yet. I think Endgame could take 4 straight weeks.
You think it's going to beat Aladdin?
Oh, maybe
It's,
Aladdin.
I think once Endgame makes what we're going to say 300 on the opening weekend, and it goes about 50% down the next week, and then another 50% down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by the time Aladdin comes out, it probably will succumb to that. But yeah,
I think Aladdin's going to be a curiosity to people. I don't think it's going to have a lot of. I have nothing to base this on, but I don't know if it's going to have the repeat viewing.
Yeah, but
I think people are curious enough to where it's going to have a strong opening.
some asshole's still going to write a headline that says Aladdin topples Endgame at the box office.
Yeah.
Of course. It's
Yeah.
already written, man.
exactly. Okay, guys, it's time to talk about Mubi again.
Yeah, baby.
I saw a very unusual movie on Mubi the other day called Silent Light.
Oh, okay.
That's my favorite Christmas song.
Yeah, right. And the director is Carlos Regadas from Mexico. It is about a Mennonite community in Mexico.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's about a man who is married to this woman, and they have 5 or 6 kids or something like that. They run a farm, and he is in love with another woman. And his wife knows about it. He's told her about it. And so it's a small town struggle and also religious struggle with being in love with another woman. And it's really basically just that. It's very slow, methodical. Yeah, it's not one of those that just goes boom, 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 but it's very interesting. These movies that you see on Mubi sometimes. There's a lot of times I'll see a movie that's as simple as this, and I'm like, what's different about this?
Mm-hmm.
I can't figure out what it is. It's, long takes is one thing, but we've seen long takes in even game night. We can see long takes.
Yeah.
So so what is it about this? It's not necessarily long takes. Sometimes it's the actors involved.
Yep.
You don't see any stars. I think everybody in here was either a Mennonite in real life or had been a Mennonite.
Oh, wow.
And so you look at the IMDb, that's their only credit is this movie.
Huh.
Some of them. I think there's one who has a few more. But it's a beautiful movie. It's very well done. It has a little bit of mysticism in it, but mostly it's a straight up guy's cheating on his wife knows it story. And it was really well done. Really good. Really,
wow.
Yeah.
It sounds like the kind of reaction that I had with the movie I was talking about last week, Fatima, where I didn't even expect to love it or to even really be all that interested in it because it's a different culture, it's a different set of circumstances. It's pretty straightforward. I could not put it down or turn it off. I did the same thing with this movie called The Fire. It's an Argentine movie. El Incendio.
It's got a very good thumbnail.
It does. So it's Juan Schnittman from Argentina, 2010 movie. Again, the description is just this couple is in the process of closing their house, and basically, this is a scorching love affair that is goes up and down, hot and cold, that kind of thing. And so I start watching it, and it's good, and it's sexy. It's sexy. Right. And then there's other things. It's shot really beautifully. It really accentuates these actors. And as the movie progresses, these actors get more and more and more passionate about and against each other. And it manifests itself physically and emotionally, and they're yelling and they're not, and they're, trying to get together. It has one of the most physically demanding sex scenes I have ever seen.
Really?
These guys want to murder each other by fucking. Both of them. They're like, I'm gonna rip your heart out, but I'm gonna penetrate and be penetrated.
Right.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because then I went back and read about it a little bit. It happens over 24 hours.
Wow.
So these are the kind of experiences that we're just talking about that you have with Mubi, never, ever, 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 ever would have found this movie otherwise.
Right.
Murder fucking.
Murder fucking.
Oh, I will say, Mubi is never shy about bringing the sexy.
Oh yeah,
You have
definitely.
a lot of those type of movies that
Yeah.
come up, and and like Jeremy was saying with the thumbnail, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this.
They do have very good selections with their thumbnails.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
There's an art to that.
Yes, well, yeah, you would
Well,
know
and,
better than anybody.
there was a movie that I saw a long time ago, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was a British 1960s film,
Mhm.
and it's just this. Hey, there's nothing like sexual going on. It's just the woman and her look, and that's it. And it was like, oh, I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm watching that.
yeah.
So-
And the descriptions are great. They're concise without being pedantic, I guess. Right? Like they give you the essence of the movie. Like whether it's like this is because you should watch this because this director's really amazing, or this is a vision that you'll never see about this culture or something like that. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So what's the link?
Mubi.com/CinemaSins.
And what do they get?
They get 30 days free. Now listen, that's free. That's free 30 days. You know how long 30 days is?
It's it's 5 days longer than 25.
That's true. That's true. I mean, you'll bathe
Yes.
in cinema.
Right.
You will drip with cinema like coming out of your pores
Well, and
in
honestly,
those 30 days.
it's almost not fair to say 30 days because there will be 60 films on the service during that 30-day
Yep.
period that you will have a chance to
Like,
watch.
yeah, if you signed up today, you could watch in descending order whatever's about to leave,
Yep.
and then go work your way up to all the newest stuff, and you'd see 60.
It's awesome. You guys know it. It's awesome. Go check it out. It costs you nothing. We vouch for it. mubi.com/CinemaSins. It'll make you happy and dripping.
We get into June 7th. Dark Phoenix.
Man, look, I really like X-Men movies. I've watched Apocalypse more than once. I don't like it, but I've watched Apocalypse
bold
more than
statement.
once. I have no fucking interest in this movie whatsoever.
I don't either.
I don't either.
This is, I believe, the 10th X-Men movie, if you don't count Deadpool.
Or Logan.
Well, no, you count
No,
Logan.
all the Wolverine ones count.
You count all those. So I think it's the 10th one. You have 3 X-Men movies. You have the 2 Wolverine movies. And you have X-Men First Class, Days of Future Past, and Apocalypse. So this would be 9, I guess.
Okay.
Wait, no.
No, Logan.
Yeah, Logan.
Yeah,
So this would be 10.
this is 10. So
You know what Roman numeral is 10?
X. Why didn't they do that? That would have been awesome.
Wakanda forever.
But the guy directing it is a guy who's been a producer of a lot of these Fox comic properties: Deadpool, X-Men, Fantastic Four. Simon Kinberg, who sounds like that sounds like a name that's directed a bunch of stuff, right? But
Yep.
I think this is his debut. So Dark Phoenix, I can't get excited about this.
No. And listen, I've been on record saying that I like The Last Stand more than most people do, and this looks like a retread of that. And as much as I kind of like The Last Stand, I don't want to see it again.
Yeah,
It's crazy to me. Like, do they forget that the second and third X-Men movies we ever got were wrapped up in this Dark Phoenix bullshit?
Yeah.
Like, we already had this story. 2.5 movies, or 1.5 movies of it.
Yeah.
Why was this the one that you had to come back to?
I don't know.
We got to
Of
tell Dark
all-
Phoenix.
Of all of these fucking characters. Now, I realize that she is probably the most powerful mutant of all time, right? Except for Apocalypse. But, yeah. It's another, we haven't seen the movie, but like it's another girl going out of control, can't control her powers type of thing. Fuck off.
yeah,
Plus, no Famke.
yeah,
Or Famke.
yeah.
Janssen.
Yep. The probably the movie that's going to do the best though on June 7th is The Secret Life of Pets 2. Patton Oswalt takes over for Louis C.K. in the Sam role, and I don't know what this movie's about. I've seen 100 trailers for Secret Life of Pets 2, and I can't tell you what it's about.
They've almost intentionally obfuscated it because they keep telling these different stories, right? Like it's the cat trailer, and then it's the rabbit trailer, and then it's the dog trailer.
Yeah.
But they don't really interact except for these vignettes.
Well, and I finally saw a full-on trailer with all the characters and what's supposedly the plot, and I still can't tell you what it is.
Yeah. I don't know if it matters, right?
So it may not, but I will say there is something to that. When trailers don't tell you exactly what you're about, people tend not to show up. It's a weird thing. Even when you have a title like this that has a name recognition or whatever. Think also of the animated movies recently that have tanked out of nowhere, like Kung Fu Panda, and even this how you remember how everybody was on How to Train Your Dragon 3 because it did this awesome opening weekend, and then it just had a nosedive after that. The sequels to these animated movies have to be beloved when they become big, huge hits, and I don't know if Secret Life of Pets is beloved. So it'll be interesting with this and Dark Phoenix coming out. I still think Secret Life of Pets will end up being the #1 movie this weekend, but it may not do what they hope it does.
Yeah, and I didn't like that first one.
I didn't either.
It's not like we hate all these animated movies. I love Patton Oswalt and Ratatouille, obviously, right? But this is just it was mindless.
I don't even
stuff.
think people loved it. I think just they went to it and it made a shit ton of money, so they're making another one.
Yeah. And finally, on June 7th, we have Late Night, where Emma Thompson plays a late night talk show host. The show is losing in the ratings. Mindy Kaling comes in and becomes the writer that helps it out. Mindy Kaling actually wrote the screenplay to this movie.
Good buzz.
It could be like a dark horse, basically.
Good festival
right?
buzz.
Yeah.
But again, probably not a mass appeal kind of movie. But I have it on my list of curious to see. I've heard Mindy Kaling getting a lot of praise for this movie. So.
Yeah. It looked, out of the 3 movies coming out this weekend, it's the one that I want to watch.
Yeah.
You know, the other 2 are like, okay, you guys, I'll just have the free theater with nobody in it watching Late Night.
There is, I don't know if you were going to get to this, but there is another A24 release coming out this week. It's called The Last Black Man in San Francisco. And this is one of the best trailers that I've seen in the last year.
Really?
Or so. It is amazing. It's perfectly shot. It's perfectly paced. It's got a wonderful rendition of this guy, a street performer, bellowing if you're going to San Francisco, and it'll give you chills. It's about gentrification and it's humorous. This is a very cool looking movie.
I'll have to see the trailer for
this. It must be set in the past because I have it on good authority. San Francisco has everything figured out now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Homelessness, poop on the streets, like inequality of housing. I feel like I read that they've got it all perfect now.
Yeah.
It's Danny Glover, by the way, is in this. And you know how over the last few years, Danny Glover's gotten to where he doesn't even have a voice?
Yeah.
He's talking like this.
Yeah.
And like starting with Saw, like he just talked like this. He's got his voice back. And maybe he had like a physical issue.
He could be.
In this movie. And it's, oh man, I'm officially excited to see this movie.
June 14th is Joyless Sequel Week. Although, really, honestly, haven't we gone through a couple already?
Yes, we have.
But June 14th, Men in Black International comes out, and it's going to tank.
Dude, it is going to tank the most.
Yeah.
You tank it the most.
It's Chris Hemsworth and who?
Tessa Thompson.
Tessa Thompson.
So you have Thor and Valkyrie in this movie.
It's not going to work.
Did you guys not like the third Men in Black?
No.
No. Now, what's good is Brolin's impression of Tommy Lee Jones. That's it.
Yeah.
But also, this is going to be like Man from U.N.C.L.E. It's going to have 2 stars that America hasn't really embraced as leading people yet. In the 4th movie of a franchise we've already gotten tired of.
And
Not that Man from U.N.C.L.E. was that, but
when was Men in Black 3? Was that like 07 or something like that?
It was,
2010?
Yeah.
Okay. But it has been too long for another sequel, right? Like we talk about this all the time.
Yep.
Like if you're going to keep the franchise going, keep it fresh. Don't wait 10, 12 years.
2012 it came out. But yeah, just look at really who cares if it's a tired franchise or not. You just look at the movie itself, the trailer itself. I was just exhausted watching it. I love Tessa Thompson too. And I'm not even excited to watch this at all, even though she's in it. Emma Thompson's in this as well, no relation.
All Thompsons.
Yeah, and Liam Neeson also in this.
There you go.
But they go to London.
It's London Has Fallen, Men in Black style.
Then there is Shaft.
Oh, God bless us.
This is weird to me.
It's very weird.
Yeah. So first off, it's a comedy more than it's an action film. So sort of way different from the original and then the remake that came out in like 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Roundtree is back.
Yes.
But I believe in the remake, he was playing Uncle John Shaft. And in this one, he's playing the grandfather, or maybe he's still the uncle, but they're calling him John Shaft 1.
Uh-huh.
They call Samuel Jackson John Shaft 2, and then the other guy's John Shaft 3. It's more comedy than anything. And it's
why did they call this Shaft?
I don't know.
Because it has name recognition.
But Shaft lives?
Yeah.
Son of Shaft? Like why
Well, that's the problem, is that the
literally
last movie was called Shaft.
It's called exactly
All
Shaft.
3 movies are called Shaft.
Yeah, I mean
That's dumb.
That's dumb.
But it's even
like they're
dumber.
pretending that it 19 years ago didn't happen.
It's even dumber to have made this movie.
I agree.
What it does have going for it is that Tim Story, who does Ride Along and Think Like a Man and Barbershop, he directed this. And Jesse T. Usher from Independence Day 2 plays the younger Shaft.
Oh, that was my favorite performance of that movie.
I know, right? Very, very strange movie though coming out. That it came out of nowhere. I saw that trailer.
Man.
I was like, really? This is happening?
That was at the beginning of Us.
I think
too,
it was.
wasn't it? Yeah.
I think it was.
Well, and that's 19 years after the last one?
Yeah.
Good
Weird.
timing, Hollywood.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I have one more of the
Go for it.
lower releases. I think you guys will potentially enjoy a Jim Jarmusch movie.
Is it the zombie one?
Yeah, The Dead Don't Die.
It's sure getting a lot of buzz.
Yeah, it's
It's going to open con, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so. It's a comedy, and when he does comedy, he does it really, really well. It's got a great cast, too. It's Bill Murray, Chloe Sevigny, Tilda Swinton, Adam Driver, Steve Buscemi, Selena Gomez, Caleb Landry Jones from Get Out, like the Carol Kane, Danny Glover, Tom Waits. Like this potentially could be like his big, finally like mainstream movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited.
Okay. I mean, even though I'm not a big Jim Jarmusch fan, and honestly, I haven't seen enough of his movies to really say, that type of thing I generally gravitate towards. I like zombie movies, and especially if you put somebody like Jim Jarmusch on it, I'm going to watch that because it's going to be different.
Yep.
Yeah, and this I still haven't seen that movie that he did with Adam Driver a year or two ago.
Oh yeah,
but it seems like he's formed a nice because all these people, Bill Murray, Tilda Swinton, Tom Waits, like all these are actors that he's worked with before and has done great stuff with. Broken Flowers with Bill Murray is a great movie. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
June 21st, the big movie coming out is Toy Story 4.
Fuck it. Look, in the trailer, like that spork enrages me.
Yeah.
Like this basically just means that anything a kid plays with suddenly gains sentience.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that.
I don't. That's a new wrinkle, isn't it?
Is the dog going to start talking to the toys? A kid played with the dog. Did that make it into a talkable thing?
Yeah, I had questions about that fork as well. Because you put two eyes on something and a sort of a mouth, then it becomes alive.
This is. I mean, I'm at least done listening to anyone who made this movie talking about how they only made it because it was a great story.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear any of that shit. I'm not saying they have to go on Kimmel and say they offered me $20 million to do 5 minutes of voice work. Of course I said yes. I'm not saying I need that. Just don't go on Kimmel and be like, The Heart, we just had to go back one more time. These characters demanded it. No, they didn't. You ended it perfect in another unnecessary movie.
So Toy Story 3 ended perfectly, and we didn't need to have. This is my main problem with this is just it's that same story again. Beloved toy gets away from the kid, then so Woody has to go on an adventure to make sure that he gets back to the kid, And it's that same thing over and over. Now, I will say there is one moment in this trailer where it's like a horror movie almost, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That looks pretty interesting, and I will want to see that. And it is kind of amazing how much the animation and everything has evolved since that first Toy Story, because this one looks really, really good.
Yeah.
But exactly what Jeremy's saying, I wish they had ended it with 3, and I know why they made a 4.
This may actually be a good movie, but I think we'll all kind of have the same opinion of it regardless, right?
It's like, that is not my gripe.
Yeah.
That's not my gripe.
Yeah. I got you.
Interesting counter programming. Child's Play remake is
Yeah,
coming
that's
out.
I think that's actually pretty clever at counter programming.
I think so too. This is a straight up remake because the kid Andy is back, which is, Toy Story was a big the protagonist was Andy. But this looks like a straight up remake though, with some differences. Mark Hamill's the voice of Chucky this time.
That's about the only way you could have done it and not piss people off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Because in the past it's been what's that fucker?
Brad Dourif?
Brad Dourif. I said fucker.
What's that
fucker,
name?
that asshole.
Now there's some, I don't know which one this is, but there's the guy who created this is pissed about this, right?
Child's Play?
Or is it the sequels that he's been pissed about all along, and this is him? It's one way or the other.
I don't know.
To where the creator of Child's Play somehow has been screwed out of something. The way I read the news.
Don Mancini is the guy who created the characters, but it doesn't look like he's a part of any of this. It would make total sense.
Yeah,
that
that's
his
what I read.
Creation probably just got stolen from him over the years.
Like it has happened to a lot of people, sadly.
Aubrey Plaza is in this movie, so that's definitely something that may make me watch this movie. But
is it rated R? Better be.
Although it doesn't say on this, but I'm going to say it probably is. The thing about this one, the trailer seems to make it out like Chucky is sort of a smart technology that controls a lot of things in the house. So it's sort of a comment on that type of technology that's invading our homes.
That could actually be interesting. I was reading about these new Star Wars lands they're going to open at Disneyland and Disney World, which, by the way, it's going to ruin. Like Harry Potter has ruined theme parks because you have to make reservations to go to the Star Wars world. You only get a 4-hour block. The only way to guarantee you can get in with a reservation is to book a stay at one of the resort hotels.
Oh, really?
But I was reading about this droid shop where when you go in, your kid can build his own droid, and there's enough to mix and match that it can be very unique. And then much like the wands at Harry Potter World, the droids can interact with the park as you go through the Star Wars section. I bet you that droid is an extra standalone expense that's like $400. Your ticket to get in does not get you a droid. I guarantee it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I went to Harry Potter World.
Absolutely.
And those wands were like $150 extra.
Yes,
wow.
absolutely.
And I remember being underwhelmed at Harry Potter World because there wasn't much to do. My wife loved it because it feels like you're in that world.
Sure.
That's what Star Wars is going to be. Little kids are going to love it. Feels like I'm on Tatooine or whatever. And parents are going to be like, $400 for a fucking droid?
Yep.
Well, okay.
Yeah, exactly. But Dad!
Rounding out June 21st, we have a movie called Anna, not to be confused with Hannah.
Although... Yes, to be confused
with Hannah,
with Lucy, with Salt, with Hannah.
Oh, I thought it was an Anna and the King remake.
No, this is Luc Besson back to
son of a bitch,
back to the female assassin genre.
It's like the only thing he knows how to do.
Yeah.
Well, the trailer says the director of Lucy and the professional.
Yeah. And they might as well put La Femme Nikita in there too.
Exactly.
But yeah, this one has it looks decent.
It looks exactly like Atomic Blonde.
Yeah.
It has she's blonde. It has these long takes like what happened in Atomic Blonde. Yep. And if you put those two together, like side by side, I would be hard pressed to tell you. And they were from the back. Like it'd be hard pressed to tell you which one it is. Atomic Blonde, I kind of enjoyed, but I don't really need to see another version of it.
Well, and this is getting buried. I mean, they put it out against Toy Story and Child's Play. Who's the audience after this?
I don't know. It's got Helen Mirren is in this oddly heavy makeup in this, and like Cillian Murphy is playing the government baddie.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I happen upon this movie later on, I might end up enjoying it. But Luc Besson, man, has just fallen off.
A woman
of the face
by
of
the
the
name of Sasha Luce plays Anna. And I wouldn't be surprised like later if I found out that Luc Besson and Sasha Luce were a thing, because it seems like every time I see like he does one of these movies, it's like, oh yeah, they're dating. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yep.
June 28th, Annabel Comes Home. This is a really strange release date, because now you have Child's Play, which is about a killer doll, coming out the week before this. And now you have the third movie of this series. This brings back Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson as the Warrens. And remember, we first saw Annabelle in Conjuring at the very end, where they go into that room full of, horror props, essentially. And we're back home this time. So this time, the Warrens' like daughter, who's played by McKenna Grace in this,
Little girl good at math.
Nice.
Is I think the sort of the main get scared by Annabelle person in this, and she's also saying that she's gonna have she feels like she has the same powers as her mom in this, so that's going to be exploring that. But this trailer did nothing for me.
Did you like any of the previous Annabelles?
No. Well, the first Annabelle is garbage.
Okay, is it the first one that's garbage and the second one is slightly better?
The second one is just above garbage.
Okay.
Isn't that the same with the Ouija movies?
Yeah.
I think so. I don't know if I saw that second Ouija movie, but that first Ouija movie is one of the worst movies.
That's the only one I've seen, but I think I've read in several places that the second one was actually really good.
Yeah. Origins of Evil.
Yeah, just like Battle Los Angeles.
Yeah.
The sequel was supposedly pretty good. And that sequel was like 10 years later.
There was a sequel to that?
Yeah. And it's pretty good.
I didn't ever see that.
Yeah, I'll dig up some links for you. It was like a year and a half ago.
Did you see it?
No, I read an article when the trailer came out, and the trailer was like, hey, they made a sequel to Battle Los Angeles for some reason, and it looks pretty good. And then I followed the movie, and when it came out, I think it was well received by the three people that
Battle
saw it.
Los Angeles, by the way, has one of my favorite trailers of all time, and it's one of the first, I think, movie trailers that tried that slow version of a known song thing.
Yeah.
And it's just all auto-tuned and everything. But the way it was, I was like, I can't wait to see Battle Los Angeles.
There's a good movie in that. There's a good premise. I'm not surprised that a sequel would actually be pretty good. Yeah. Because there's something
that movie
in
should
there.
Have been good.
Yeah, the movie's terrible, but there's something in there that is not bad.
Well, I remember feeling like it was trying to sell itself as Heat with aliens.
Yeah, found footage.
Like an L.A. like street crime movie with aliens.
Yeah.
I still think there's room. Maybe I haven't seen it. Maybe the second one.
I kind of want to.
But I also, speaking of slow motion songs, that Godzilla trailer I saw this morning, which I'm pretty sure just came out today, has Somewhere Over the Rainbow really slowed down.
Oh, really? Like so slowed down that it's almost like in Inception?
Well, and by the end of it, it's not even anybody singing anymore. It's just like a boom, as you see like a crash on screen. Boom, 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 boom. They're trying to time the melody with like explosions and Godzilla roaring fire out of his mouth.
Nice.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
But one thing that is, I think, true though, this Conjuring universe is kind of bulletproof right now.
God, it can.
The Curse of La Llorona made $26 million domestic over the weekend.
What the fuck is that movie?
I don't know. I saw a trailer.
Is it connected to the Conjuring?
It
universe?
is.
I did not know that.
By the way, inside baseball here. I did not think there was a Conjuring universe movie coming out this year because they didn't have anything set up on. I was looking at the Wikipedia and everything. Didn't have anything scheduled. So then there's this. I was going through the schedule and I was like, okay, there's a horror movie called The Curse of La Llorona coming out. I'll just put The Nun there. And it just so happens that The Curse of La Llorona is a Conjuring.
That's awesome.
universe movie.
Well, and then there's Annabelle.
Yeah, but then Annabelle wasn't scheduled at the time that I scheduled that. Actually, what happened was I scheduled it, and then I looked at it, and they had just announced Annabelle Comes Home. And I texted Jonathan. I was like, I think I might move The Nun to there because that'll be a tentpole and everything. And he goes, well, Curse La Llorona is a Conjuring. I was like, what? It is?
I know. What the hell?
I even think I read that there's a Conjuring 3 coming soon.
Yeah, I think
either
so.
later in this year or next
And
year.
well, they've introduced so many damn characters too that haven't even gotten their own movies yet.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if they're making money, that's interesting that they're all making money.
I was looking at something. We'll get to one of these sequels that I was so curious in a minute, but yeah, some of these movies, they don't have to make terribly a lot of money. They don't have to make a lot of money because they're only made for like $7 to $10 million.
Sure.
Then there's another movie on June 28th called Yesterday, which is about a guy. This is that Ed Sheeran thing that you were talking about. But no, it's about a guy who wakes up and nobody remembers the Beatles, and he's the only one who does. And so he starts singing some Beatles songs, and people are like, oh, that's great. That's awesome. And it's like, that's a perfect song you wrote there. And he's like, I didn't write it. It was Paul McCartney and John Lennon. And they're like, who's that? And so he becomes famous by doing the Beatles songs. By the way, I don't think that would happen.
Yeah, no.
I
agree.
I don't think you could make Beatles song you don't have any idea Beatles exist. Somebody today came out with Beatles songs. It wouldn't be a big deal.
Certainly wouldn't be as big as the Beatles.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you. I am on board with what the movie is going to tell us.
However, yes, the movie looks fun. Danny Boyle directed this.
This looks hilarious. This looks like a lot of fun, man. The guy, who was the main guy?
I think it's Himesh Patel.
Yeah. I mean, the main guy is super engaging. Ana de Armas is in this, looking a strange version of herself.
Yeah.
Still beautiful, obviously. Kate McKinnon is in this. Your boy Ed Sheeran is in here. And I got all kinds of like giggly and happy during this trailer.
I like a good high concept.
Yeah.
It really ultimately depends, because if the movie has something interesting to say about humanity, I could love it.
Yeah.
If the movie really just wants to say the Beatles are great, then I'm going to have a problem with it.
It doesn't seem like they're doing that.
But you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
It's definitely going to say that.
I just don't want it to only be saying
Right.
that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I feel like Danny Boyle is trustworthy enough.
Like if at the end of the movie the real Beatles come out. I'm like, oh, you're playing our songs wrong.
Well, there is a point where he's on a talk show. I think it's James Corden.
Yeah.
And he's like, there are two people here who say that you stole the songs. Let's see what they have to say about this. And I'm wondering if that's John Lennon and Paul McCartney, who aren't famous, coming out.
One person doesn't have shoes on, and that was the famous Abbey Road, Paul is dead type of thing.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
But
you
one
know
of these
what?
days, we need to go down Danny Boyle's
really
IMDb and figure out if he's losing his way.
I'm fascinated by his choices.
Yeah.
He surprises me. It's an interesting sounding movie.
Well, a lot of these British comedies like this always seem to be engaging and fun.
Yeah.
Pirate Radio, Calendar Girls.
Yeah.
Those type of things this is going to be fun, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it.
July 3rd, Midsummer.
What?
There's a horror movie called Midsummer, which is Ari Aster, who directed Hereditary.
It looks awesome.
It does. It looks Wicker Man-ish, but not bad Wicker Man.
Yeah. No, original Wicker Man.
Original Wicker Man. And it has this interesting white widescreen bar thing where it's almost like he's saying to himself, I don't want to do the black bars because I want everything to look bright and spring and everything. And if I put black in there, it won't look like that totally.
Interesting.
So he puts white bars on the top and bottom of the screen. Hereditary is one of those movies. When I first watched it, I was like, I love everything except the ending to this. And I'm kind of the same way today, but I like the movie better than I did when I first watched it. I'm there for this movie.
It looks so
it's
good.
It's gonna be weird, man.
It looks so creepy, and you're right. The palette is unlike anything that you would see in a horror movie. You don't see bright colors in a horror movie, except for Wicker Man.
Yeah,
right. The original one, because it was all out in the open, and that's what made it fucking creepy. Everybody's smiling. Everybody's like, in their cult head, basically, right? And then this makes it very clear that this is an unusual set of circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be like blindfolded to walk into this village and everything. I am psyched about this movie.
All right.
The big movie coming out July 3rd is Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yay!
I'm excited. I want to go back to this, not necessarily MCU. It will be MCU, but I want to go back to this world. I want to go back to this Peter Parker, and I'm curious to see. I like the idea of him going international because almost all Spider-Man images that we have, at least from film, are New York centric. And the Empire State Building is almost synonymous with Spider-Man. But here he's going to be in London where they have the Thames, and he's going to be in other European cities where they don't have the Thames. I'm excited.
I wonder if they shot this movie at the same time as Men in Black International, because that's another series that was only in New York for a while, and now they went to go
both
to London.
Sony.
Both Sony. And I'm wondering if
they only rent one plane.
Well, it wouldn't. I'm cynical enough these days to think, oh, they making Spider-Man in London. Hey, while we're at it, we'll just make Men in Black in London,
dude. And if there's a Thor cameo in Spider-Man,
we'll
definitely, or a Valkyrie,
or a Matt Damon.
I did think it's interesting that Kevin Feige came out a couple days ago and said that he views Far From Home as the end of Phase 3 rather than the beginning of Phase 4. Pretty sure he said the exact opposite a year ago. But also, why do we care?
Well, he also did the same fucking thing about Ant-Man being the end of Phase 2.
Yeah.
After fucking Age of Ultron. It's
I think what it is they're as successful as they have been. They're still figuring it out as they go.
Yes.
And so I think sometimes they have to backwalk certain things that they've said, and there's probably at one point maybe there was some element of Far From Home that was going to be a catalyst for something moving forward, and they edited that out so it doesn't fit in tone. I don't know.
I mean, Fury is definitely in Far From Home, right?
Yes. And Iron Man is conspicuously absent in these trailers.
Iron Man is conspicuously absent. And it definitely takes place after Endgame.
It has to.
Yeah. And I think he's come out and said that. Do you guys?
I haven't
I'm
heard.
still seeing some bullshit conspiracy theories that this takes place before Infinity War.
It'd be such a weird shoehorn into the timeline.
It doesn't make any sense. Here's what's happened. Okay, Endgame is already out. I haven't seen it as I say this. Tony's going to die or retire at the end of this movie. And that's why he's not mentoring Peter in Far From Home. And it's a perfect opportunity for Nick Fury and or Colby Smulders to come in there. And I think Happy's shown in the trailer somewhere. He's going to have some new mentors.
So what I'm saying is that it's so weird that they tipped their hand about Fury coming back after Endgame, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird.
About Spider-Man coming back after Endgame. Spider-Man's dissolved too.
No, I understand that, but we knew about this before. We knew about this movie before Infinity War came out.
Yes.
But we didn't know that Fury was in there. So I'm just saying that the whole marketing, the whole thing is just weird. I wish they had waited to put a trailer out until after Endgame.
If we didn't know any of their plans after Infinity War, I think Infinity War's big moments would have played a lot better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They don't need my advice.
No.
But I mean, wait on the trailer. The fucking Ad Astra has waited for a trailer till a month out. Wait on a trailer until after Endgame so you don't tip your hand one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
yeah. July 12th is a strange week. There were two movies that I saw on here that didn't even have trailers, and then there's a movie called Stuber that it looks like Central Intelligence / Ride Along.
It looks
got
awful.
Dave Bautista and Kumail Nanjiani in it. Nanjiani is an Uber driver who picks up Bautista, and then Bautista is going around and beating a whole bunch of bad guys' asses.
Yeah.
And Nanjiani gets caught up in it, and
Yeah, we've seen this before.
yeah, we have. The two movies that didn't have trailers that I saw, one's called 21 Bridges, but it was called 17 Bridges.
What is up with that? Like the poster says 17
How do you
bridges.
make a movie that's going to be called 17 Bridges, and then you go, wait a minute, there's 4 more?
Shit.
Well,
Don didn't count correctly. Gene, fire Don.
Yeah.
well, do we know anything about its plot? Do we have a synopsis anywhere?
So no.
Is it 21 Bridges of Madison County?
It's got Chadwick Boseman, Taylor Kitsch, J.K. Simmons, Sienna Miller. The guy who directed it has directed a whole bunch of HBO Showtime series stuff, and like good stuff, Game of Thrones and Dexter and stuff like that. But yeah, no trailer, and I couldn't see any. I think it's about a cop who's disgraced NYPD cop or something like that, and he has to make amends.
Is there
somehow.
any chance that some stupid marketing executive said, change it from 17 to 21 so some people will think it's 21 Jump Street?
There's
And remember the Distinguished Gentleman, where Eddie Murphy just took the name of the previous Congress.
Well, yeah. The other day I was going through a Walmart Blu-ray section, and there was a movie called Clover something. It wasn't Cloverfield or anything like that, but I was putting the words together, and I was like, Clover, blah blah. None of this makes sense. I'm wondering if they wanted to have that movie next to Cloverfield in the Blu-ray bin, and people go, "Oh, that must be part of the Cloverfield."
It's Clover Valley.
I mean,
Yeah.
nothing sounds too insane to me anymore, really.
This it almost sounds like a state in Maine type of thing, right? Where they're like, we got to pull out the 17 bridges.
4 bridges got built after we filmed, so we got to change it to 21.
And another movie that has no trailer, but I do know what this is about. It's called Crawl. It has Kaya Scodelario or Scodelario. She's in all those Maze Runner movies, and she's in one of the Pirates movies. And Barry Pepper. It's a hurricane movie. It's the IMDb is like a woman must battle flooding in her house and also alligators. And
this is the alligator movie.
have you seen a trailer for this?
I thought I did.
I didn't.
But yeah, Alexandra Aja.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think- I don't know.
I think I was talking to Jonathan not too long ago. He's excited for this movie.
Yeah.
And maybe the Modern Horrors guys wrote about it. Like, there's hype for this movie.
Okay.
Because Aja,
we don't know.
He did High Tension, right?
Yep.
And what was the American.
He
movie
did Hills Have Eyes, I think.
Hills Have Eyes. Yeah. He did Horns and Piranha 3D. Hills Have Eyes and Mirrors.
Yeah, Mirrors.
All right, so maybe I shouldn't be.
Well,
too excited.
I think he's got a distinguished career overseas, and
Yeah.
then he came over here, and they started giving him stupid ass shit like Mirrors. But yeah, I didn't see a trailer, so yeah, it sounds kind of stupid. It sounds almost like a hurricane survival film.
Yeah.
But if it's a horror movie, then maybe there's something.
Yeah, it's a horror
especially
movie.
it's called Crawl, and maybe there's a dynamic to this avoiding hurricanes and alligators where they have to crawl everywhere.
Yep.
July 19th is The Lion King. And yeah, it looks exactly note for note the animated film.
I love how the headline yesterday on a couple different sites, but all based on the same interview, was the director of The Lion King promises that the film holds surprises for you. Just like, when you have to give that interview, you've marketed poorly. But yeah, I doubt your surprise. I mean, your surprises are going to be like, that one bug is blue instead of green, but Timon still eats it.
Could they get away with making like decent changes to this?
Oh, you mean would they be given too much hell if they did?
Yeah. What if Favreau went in there and said, like, obviously not like, Scar's going to win or anything like that, but say like he made some interesting. I don't even know what you would do along the way.
Let's kill his mom instead of Mufasa.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, no, they couldn't get away with that.
Yeah,
but that's part of the problem
with
these live action remakes is that we are already connected to these stories to the point where if you do make changes, we will be upset that you tinkered with a beloved thing. But if you don't make changes, then what's the fucking point?
Yeah, it's not like Beauty and the Beast did anything
But
different.
it said it did. It tries to act like it did.
It said that it cut down on the Stockholm Syndrome thing. But, like, really? No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Right.
She falls in love with him all the same, you know? So, yeah, no, it's going to look awesome.
It probably will.
But, yeah, I think.
I will not be watching this in theaters.
No, me neither.
And I have it's not like the animated Lion King is something that, I pop in every year and love it and everything, but I'm very connected to that original Lion King just because of being an usher back in the day. I used to watch Lion King, just huge sections of Lion King all the time. And there's so many like powerful, like the music is perfect and the way that opening is perfect and that,
plus we were still teenagers.
Yeah.
We were all still young enough to, I think, have a little childlike magic at a great movie like that. And especially that opening number, it looked so photorealistic. And this was before an age of computer generated graphics looking even remotely good. And they're like, people's hands drew that.
Yeah.
And it looks like video. Like it was jaw dropping.
Yeah. And how bold that opening is just no words, just a song. And then just like, this is the movie you're about to see. Boom. Lion King.
Yeah.
And they were very bold and knew what they had on their hands with this thing. I cannot get excited about this movie.
Nope.
Donald Glover is Simba though.
There
And
you go.
Chiwetel Ejiofor is Scar.
Well, and this is another thing, honestly. If I have a reputation for getting angry about tiny little things that mean nothing, it's probably earned. Drives me crazy that they cast James Earl Jones again, but didn't keep any of the other voice actors.
Well,
when
yeah.
a great many of them are still alive and able, like Jeremy Irons was a fine Scar.
Yeah.
I think in this case they were making a concerted effort to make sure that there were people of color in this story.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the reason why I think that James Earl Jones basically had to stay. And then, I wouldn't watch this if Matthew Broderick playing Simba again. I don't.
No, I'm not advocating to bring everyone back. I'm advocating to not bring James Earl Jones back. If you're telling me a new story,
yeah,
but the voice of the dad who's going to die and inspire my main character is the same.
Yeah.
Like I could go for Morgan Freeman as Mufasa's voice.
Yeah, but it's one of those. I think that's one of those cases where James Earl Jones is still alive, and why give it to somebody else at this point? Because he's so well, like everybody else in that movie. Do you really relate to other than Jeremy Irons? Do you really relate their voice to those characters that much? Maybe Nathan Lane.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I guess I'm seeing the casting of James Earl Jones.
I see what you're
proof
saying.
That we don't need this movie.
I see what you're saying as well. I'm just saying that I think if you're making this movie and then you decide not to cast James Earl Jones, you're making a financial mistake probably.
Well, it's like if Robin Williams were still with us, would he be playing the genie in the live action Aladdin this summer?
I don't think so.
No. I think it would still be Will Smith.
I mean, if you're going to do live action, there's only a certain amount of
I
makeup
feel like
that
he
do.
is as connected to that genie character by voice as James Earl Jones is to Mufasa.
I agree. That's why this Aladdin's going to suck ass.
July 26th, the very surprise sequel, The Boy 2. The first Boy movie.
I don't even know what the boy
first boy
is.
Yeah, there was the first The Boy movie that came out about 2 years ago. Made $35 million. And I was like, looking this up, I was like, I don't remember this being a hit. And again, this is what I was talking about with Annabel earlier. The movie was made for $10 million. It made 35. And it made, I don't know if it made much foreign, but that's just enough to make another movie.
It's a horror movie, right?
Yeah, it's a horror movie.
The Boy.
This
The Boy
they're
2.
also calling it Brahms, The Boy 2. I don't know why Brahms is in this.
Okay.
But
Brahms,
but
the composer.
yeah, I think so. The first Boy is about let's see, an American nanny is shocked that her new English family's boy is actually a life-size doll. It's another doll movie.
It
My
is another
God.
doll movie.
There's three fucking killer doll movies coming out
That's wild.
In the same summer.
in the same summer.
That would be flabbergasting in the same 5-year period.
right. I mean, even if it turns out at the end of the original boy, it's like Pinocchio and he's like a real boy or some shit. It's still fucking
That's the theme of the summer. It's like the 2 years ago it was little boys running around the jungle.
right. This time
This
it's
is
little
doll
boys
movies.
killing fools.
Yeah.
The big movie coming out on July 26th is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Take my money.
Yeah.
I do not think it's going to make a ton of money, though.
It's going to make mine.
His movies almost never, like, go gangbusters, right?
Well,
Like, $100 million would be a really good Tarantino performance.
totally.
recent Tarantino does do gangbusters.
Okay.
I think Django, Inglourious Bastards both made over 100 million. Both were big hits. This movie should follow suit.
Just from the cast and the subject matter, and I'm curious to see what he's come up with.
That trailer sucks ass, though.
That trailer didn't exactly reel me in, but the trailers for Tarantino movies are never.
You like the trailer?
representative.
I love the trailer.
No, I didn't like that trailer.
I guess maybe I just. Is there more than one? Did I watch the wrong trailer?
I just watched the first one. Maybe there's.
I don't. I think there's only one.
Yeah,
but I liked it.
yeah. I wasn't. I know it's. I figure it's going to be a good movie. There are obviously a hierarchy of Tarantino movies in my mind, but even the worst one, I would say maybe my least favorite is Django. I still very much like. So even if this is at the very bottom of his list, I'm still probably going to like it.
Yeah. My point was simply that I don't think it's going to make superhero money. I don't think it's going to make $250 million.
No,
I don't think Brad
think
Pitt
so.
and Leo DiCaprio are going to pull new people to Tarantino films.
I don't think it's expected to make that kind of money, but it should because Inglourious Bastards made 120 million domestic, and Django made 162. I would expect it to make around in the middle of that somewhere. But maybe not. Maybe not. It could be. I mean, these movies may not. This movie may not have the same kind of appeal those other two did. But we've been hearing about this forever. I feel like everybody.
When was Hateful Eight? 2014, 15.
It was earlier. I think it was 2015.
So it's been a minute since he's.
Yeah, Hateful Eight. Now Hateful Eight didn't make that much.
Didn't he always say he was going to make 10 movies?
Yeah, that's what he said.
And this
yeah.
is number 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he said something about that. That was that Hateful Eight made 54. So,
Wow.
but that one didn't have the same kind of appeal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he said something like that when this was that thing where I was like, this is how media twists stuff a lot of times. There was a clickbait, basically headline that says Quentin Tarantino says Death Proof's got to be the worst movie I've ever made. And I went and looked at the video, and he goes, he wants to make a solid body of work by the time he retires, and he doesn't want to make that many movies and everything. And he's like, Death Proof out of that group has to be the worst one that I've made. And
meaning I never want to make one that's not better than that.
Right.
But that is a twist.
Yeah.
God,
You know what's funny about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Of all the people that are cast in this, Samuel L. Jackson is not one of them.
Yeah, but he could still be a cameo that's not credited yet.
I guess it's possible. He's just so.
He could also be busy as fuck. Like he's going to be in 3 movies by the time this one comes out.
Well, he wasn't in Inglourious Bastards.
That's true. Yeah, he's not in.
He's
wasn't
not in
Kill
all.
Bill.
He's not in all the Tarantino.
Yeah.
He was in Kill Bill Volume 2.
It's not like he's Ron Howard, Clint Howard.
What was he in
He's
Kill
the
Bill?
piano
2?
player.
That's right. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just saying, like, especially recently, Django, Hateful Eight, and I guess Inglourious Bastards was before that, but like, just seems like he's attached at the hip. And you'd think he would be one of the zillions of people that are in this movie.
Yeah. And he could still be. July 31st, Dora and the City of Lost Gold.
There you go.
Yeah. That Isabella Monet is her name. She was in Transformers The Last Night. The girl that was in that.
Good for her.
Is playing Dora. She's also in Instant Family.
Yeah, she's adorable.
Yeah. But I don't know.
I get it. Adorable.
But I don't I don't get. Is there going to be? There's not going to. This isn't going to make a lot of money. I don't think.
I mean, that's such a big property.
There it is, but do kids these days watch Dora?
Yes.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was more like 10 years ago.
It's been around for a while, but they still love them some Dora.
But
the ones that I know.
it's a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I have read some backlash about the live actioning of this thing. And
Well.
they like aged her up to like a junior Laura
Yeah.
Croft.
Yes.
And
I
that's
think
what
that's going to be troubling for
That's
people.
the thing.
it
It
could be,
looks
yeah.
like Indiana Jones Tomb Raider type movie, but for kids.
Yeah, because she's supposed to be like, what, 8 to 10 or
Yeah,
something
somewhere
like
around
that
there.
in the show.
August 2nd, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
God fucking damn it.
Right?
Fast and Furious. Do we need them to present Hobbs and Shaw? I guess we probably
You do, because there are going to be people out there who are like, is that Fast and Furious or what?
Yep. Yeah, that's
And
true.
So,
That's true.
Yeah.
Part of me wants this to kick all the ass so that at least behind some closed door, The Rock can turn to Vin Diesel and say, suck it.
So
Because
you fall on the Rock side of the Rock Vin Diesel feud, right?
Well, only because, well, yes. But everything that I have read has painted Vin Diesel as the pouty, diva-ish, showed up to set late. And The Rock, even before he ever name-dropped anything, was like referring to, I love all my cast members and crew members that showed up every day on time and worked hard and blah, 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 and grind. Like it's always been to him about professionalism.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'll take his side over. I don't really want to take either one of their sides, but I'll take his over Vin Diesel. Yes, but I also don't want this movie to do well because I want this franchise to die.
It will never die.
It's an interesting release date for Fast and Furious. This is the latest in the year a Fast and Furious movie's ever come out.
Usually they come out in May, don't they?
April even.
Yeah.
The last few have come out in April. I believe, I'm trying to think if I think Fate of the Furious also came out in April. When they started coming back with this more Ocean's 11-y style or I guess James Bond style type of Fast and Furious, I believe all of them have basically been April. So this is August 2nd. This is typically the last big summer weekend is August 2nd. This is the weekend of Guardians of the Galaxy and The Sixth Sense and stuff like that in the past. So it does have a release date that has succeeded in the past. But I don't want it to do great either. But it's positioned to do well.
Yep.
Well, and they straight up injected him with magic sauce, Idris Elba. And this latest trailer, he says the phrase, "I'm Black Superman."
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And we've always joked in Sins videos about how they treat these characters as superheroes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have always joked about how these movies eventually, inevitably, are going to go to space.
Yeah.
And
As well.
I think we've already ticked off the superhero box.
Yep.
Let's bring in a T-Rex. Let's put everybody on a rocket.
Mm-hmm.
Get them all up there on the moon.
Yeah.
Let's cross over Jurassic Universe
I
meets Fast and Furious.
I don't know,
presents-
Jeremy. That's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, that comes out. I never understood the appeal of these two characters, Hobbs and Shaw.
No.
Remember how they made that a thing when they were in the prison together and they were like yelling at each other?
But that's all they did.
That's all they did.
Was chip at each other, and it was pretty lazy writing.
Yeah, and I was like, so they're really trying to make this a thing. Like even back then, they're really trying to make this a relationship we care about, and some people do.
If they think they've harnessed some kind of Tango and Cash magic,
Yeah.
when in reality, Tango and Cash wasn't really that good.
Yeah. Also coming out August 2nd, I guess we could call this the 11th X-Men movie. The New Mutants. But it's more horror movie. And so we have Brightburn, we have Dark Phoenix, and we have this, all looking at the dark side of mutation.
Is this the one with Maisie Williams?
Yes.
Then I read yesterday this movie may not be coming out at all. They may have shelved it.
It's already been
moved back
2.5 years or something.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out last year. Then it was supposed to come out in April of this year, and now it's on this August. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it got moved. By the way, we are in the period of the calendar where things are going to be moving all over the places. And even those movies we had where the trailers aren't even available, they may not be.
But the trailer they put out a year ago for this New Mutants looked like ass. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a...
did you think so?
Yes.
I remember really liking that trailer.
Okay, well, maybe I watched the wrong trailer. I saw a trailer and I was like, that looks like Bad Heroes shit, like the TV show Heroes.
Hold on. I think there are 2 trailers, and there is one that is ass, and there's one that's good.
All right, well, I need to see the good one if I'm going to get it.
I'll look that up. But, yeah, I was actually super, ready to see this movie.
Yeah, it looks pretty decent.
Back in, October of 2017 or something like that is when this trailer came out. And I'm not optimistic that this is ever going to.
We also have Anya Taylor-Joy in this movie.
Yeah.
It just looks like a different kind of quote unquote superhero movie where it's a horror movie. But we will have seen Brightburn by this time too. August 9th, Artemis Fowl, which is it's a Disney property that I don't think has any chance at all.
Yeah, it's directed by Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, Kenneth Branagh. There's a bunch of books for Artemis Fowl, and I don't know what it's about. But they're popular enough, I think. But I this is one of those things I remember. I've heard this name Artemis Fowl before. I thought it was something from like the 40s or something.
Yeah,
but this came out in 2001.
Yeah.
So I mean I've at least heard of this before. But coming out August 9th, I don't know. It looks like Mortal Engines or any of those type of bullshit movies.
But you're right. Like, this is the family stuff that should be at least placed in the middle of the summer. It's got a much better chance of doing something. And, you get a pedigree of Kenneth Branagh and everything. And, a decent amount of Josh Gad and Judi Dench and Hong Chow and all that stuff. But probably going to be shitty.
Yeah. We were when Greg Sestero we were interviewing Greg Sestero. We were wondering where Tom Shadyac went, and he is directing a movie called Brian Banks, which is about an NFL player who was accused of rape. But I guess it was this time he actually didn't do it. That's the twist on the NFL thing. But no, he didn't do it, and it ruined his career. And Tom
based on a real guy?
Yeah, I think it is. Brian Banks. Do we remember this guy?
I don't remember it, but I don't know. It's definitely not Brian's song.
What?
Brian's song? Remember that one?
Oh, Ryan's song. Yeah.
Is it Ryan's song or is it Brian's song?
It's Brian's song.
It's Brian's song.
No trailer for that. And then there's scary stories to tell in the dark. Did you ever read these?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, I didn't, and I feel like I've missed something in my childhood because this is something that I've heard a lot of people my age talk about.
Yeah. It's Scary Stories. I don't think it was R.L. Stine.
No, it was, God. You know what, though? I think they're doing the same thing as they did with Goosebumps with this movie.
I think they are, too.
Where the author's work actually exists in the world.
And it's Stephen Gamble was Alvin Schwartz was the
Alvin
author.
Schwartz.
Yeah, and Stephen Gamble was the illustrator. I always preferred this to Goosebumps and to the R.L. Stine stuff and all that stuff because they were genuinely scary. They were just written kinetically, really, you wanted to turn the page, but it wasn't like it didn't cross the line, obviously, into like actual terror or anything like that. But it was a nice bridge to like Stephen King stuff.
Involvement with Guillermo del Toro in this. I think he wrote the screenplay or came up with a story or produced or something like that. But it looks like sort of your kid friendly horror, but scarier than normal.
Yeah.
But with a clock in the walls.
And then there's a really weird indie looking movie called The Kitchen, but it's got a wide release currently on Box Office Mojo.
Yeah. I've got a different The Kitchen. The Kitchen that I saw is Elizabeth Moss, Donald Gleason, Melissa McCarthy, the wives of New York gangsters in Hell's Kitchen in the 70s continue to
Well, then I looked up the wrong trailer then. Let's talk about That Kitchen.
So this is it almost looks like a version of Widows. Like almost like a 70s set version of Widows. And it looks really good. This was Andrea Berloff is directing and wrote. But it's, Elizabeth Moss, Tiffany Haddish, your girl Margot Martindale, Donald Gleason. Like, it seems very, very interesting. And Actually, I think this may be a studio.
Yeah, it does have a Widows kind of look to it.
Yeah.
The IMDb is the wives of New York gangsters in Hell's Kitchen in 1970s continue to operate their husbands' rackets after they're locked up in prison. Yeah.
Yeah, this looks interesting to me. There's no trailer that I saw, but it looks very interesting.
Okay. I don't know why that kitchen came up first then. There was no trailer. Was there a trailer for this other one?
I didn't see it.
Okay. August 14th, Angry Birds Movie 2.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
What are we doing?
And there's a trailer for this, but yeah, it looks terrible.
Fuck.
Then there's a movie called Blinded by the Light.
Wrapped up like a deuce?
Yeah, man.
Oh, this is interesting, actually. Have you read about this?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if I saw a trailer, but Gurinder Shada, I don't know how to pronounce that name, but she did Bend It Like Beckham.
Right. Yeah, and A.R. Rahman, who did the music for Slumdog Millionaire, is doing this too. It's an Indian kid or a Muslim Indian kid that grew up with an obsession with Bruce Springsteen, and goes on to become like a rock journalist and stuff like that. But with all this Springsteen knowledge, it looks very interesting.
Okay.
August 16th.
I just imagine being a guy with money, and somebody comes to you and says, "I want to make a movie about an Indian Muslim kid that's obsessed with Bruce Springsteen." Like, how do you?
I don't think that was the entirety of the elevator pitch.
I'm sure it wasn't, but that's all I got. Sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't do as good a job.
No, it
of
is kind of
pitching
weird how some of these movies get made sometimes, but August 16th. 47 meters down, uncaged.
They're naked this time.
Yeah.
So is this the third one?
It's the second.
Oh,
And,
yeah,
the first one made $44 million and had Mandy Moore in it, and this one has none of the original cast. I don't think.
Did you see the first one?
I did not.
I was interested in the first one, and I think it got decent buzz. I don't know, what the ratings were and everything.
It
But
was originally 17 meters.
Yeah, that's right.
They had a poster,
them shit's 30
but then
more.
they had to change it right
30
before
extra meters.
I typically like these kinds of movies. I don't think I'll be going to see Uncaged.
But it's pretty. I mean, I don't know. I can't remember when that first 47 meters down went, but I know that the Meg was released last year in August. And I have a feeling like, oh, look, the shark movie did well in August. Let's put out this shark movie.
It probably coincides with that fucking Shark Week on Discovery, too.
No,
right?
it might.
I bet you it's that same month as when they do Shark Week.
Yeah, it's right down the middle. 54% on Rotten Tomatoes, 5.6 on IMDb.
For the first one.
For the first one,
Yeah.
Do you get a release date on that first one?
June 16th.
Yeah, I didn't think it was an August movie. So, yeah, they did this whole, cynical, well, the Meg did well in August. Let's do this, too.
Yep.
Then Good Boys. We talked about Good Boys a little bit when the other movie that I can't remember right now.
Booksmart.
Booksmart has the exact same super bad. This time it's smaller kids though, including Jacob Tremblay.
Yeah, this is right at my son's age.
Yeah.
And I love this trailer. This trailer is great.
Did you see the trailer that started off with Seth Rogen talking to the three kids?
Yes.
Okay, that is funny.
That's the Red Band trailer.
The Red Band trailer. He goes, sorry kids, I got some bad news for you. You can't watch this trailer. and they're like, wow, why not? And he's like, well, because there's smoking and drinking and a lot of bad language in it. You can't do it. He's like, that fucking sucks. And he goes, you're right, it does fucking suck. And he's like, even though you can say that type of thing, you can't watch yourself sing.
It's it was funny. I was just having a conversation with my kid yesterday about I was like, you're starting to hear some crazy language in school, aren't you? And he's like, oh yeah. And I was like,
yep.
Shit. But this movie gives me a little bit of relief because it shows the last shot of this trailer is they're trying to figure something out. And so they go to the computer and they're like, what do we search for? And you see giant letters PORN. And their reaction is, wow!
Yeah.
So that's nice to see.
I like how he misspells it at first too. It's like PORD. Then there's a movie called The Informer, which it looks like a Donnie Brasco type of movie where they send this guy.
It's not the biopic of Snow, the rapper?
No. That'd be so great. I would watch 2 hours of that.
He'll lick your bum bum.
Yeah.
No, The Informer actually does look very interesting too.
But yeah, they send a guy into jail to take down this drug dealer guy who basically running his operation. I might be confusing this with that whatever movie that was.
No, you're right. It's who is the guy?
Joel Kinnaman.
Joel Kinnaman, who was in Suicide Squad, which is ridiculous. But Ana de Armas is in this one too. And Clive Owen and Rosamund Pike play his like puppeteers, and it looks like they go sideways really fast. Yep. It looks like a Jeremy movie, honestly.
Then there's is it Playmobil or Playmobil?
Playmobil.
Playmobil, the movie, which is their own Lego movie, essentially.
Yay!
What is Playmobil?
It's exactly like Lego, only
it's like Duplo, basically.
Fuck.
But they're making their own movie here, and it's comes out in August. And then there is Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Richard Linklater directs Kate Blanchett and Billy Crudup. Kate Blanchett is this, I guess, happy housewife who disappears. It's not like Gone Girl, though. It's more like she just wants to go out. They don't know where she is, so the father and daughter go try to find her. That's the
yes, and we did this. We mentioned this movie in at least our spring preview or maybe our winter preview.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing this name
come out forever ago.
Oh really? So it may not be good.
Not a good sign.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then finally, rounding out the summer, August 23rd. These movies may not even come out at this point, but remember when we were talking about whether or not they were going to make another Has Fallen movie?
Yeah.
Angel Has Fallen.
That's right.
Poor Angel.
This is not only a ripoff of its own franchise, it's also a ripoff of Air Force One because the Angel is referring to Air Force One.
I thought it was referring to Gerard Butler's character.
He basically is an angel at this point. But yeah, no, this takes place on Air Force One.
This is like the Taken 3 of this series.
Yeah. Yes,
because
go ahead.
Well, because he's going to be accused of something, and he has to go find the people who did it.
Yep.
So it's Taken.
And there's going to be a part where he jumps over a fence, and it takes 13 cuts.
It does. It does. It does.
And then somebody's going to make a GIF of it and put it on Reddit and steal that joke.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Did somebody steal that?
We said it before anyone.
Well, yeah.
And then, yes, that has been. I've seen it posted and gone on the first page of Reddit 4 different times.
Because that joke is just
Yeah, they didn't steal that. It's that the title will be. It takes 11 cuts for this 3-second jump over a fence, and then it'll be a GIF of that scene. But that person clearly got it from us. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Whatever.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do? And then there's a movie called Overcomer, which is some sort of religious-themed cross-country movie.
It's about a guy who climaxes too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
He has to go to pray the
seriously,
away.
Dude.
He's an overcomer. You know, he's always been a bit of an overcomer.
It's like the Seinfeld episode we lost.
Yeah, exactly.
Close talker. He's an overcomer.
Right. It could go so many ways. It could be a guy who ejaculates too hard. It could also be a guy who always has to come over somebody.
Oh shit.
On that note. No, seriously, I'm not bagging on anybody's religion. These movies look awful every single time.
They do, man. They do.
They don't obviously get the best of actors in these things. And then the story themselves, it's always like, oh, how are we going to overcome this? Oh, I know. Let's pray.
Yeah, ultimately, one day we should have like an actual real discussion about these movies, but they're not made to be films. They're made propaganda, for lack of a better phrase. They're made as testimonies, as religious experiences rather than films. They're seen as witnessing, right? And so it's always going to stop short of a level of film quality that Hollywood's going after, because Hollywood's not trying to make you a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood's just trying to entertain you, and so they're making a movie. Then these religious films are trying to push forth a message first.
Yep.
And be a movie second, and that's why they always kind of feel hollow.
And they find a way to make these, get audiences out, because that movie Breakthrough that came out this past weekend made $11 million.
It did, but they also marketed the shit out of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was on YouTube a whole bunch. I saw it on IMDb a couple of places.
Yeah.
It's got some name actors in it.
Yeah, the one chick from This Is Us is in it.
Yeah.
And
This Is Our Life on TV.
Yeah.
With a fire.
But yeah, sorry to be cynical about that. I'm sure some of you guys like those type of movies.
Hey,
But-
do your thing,
But
man.
every time I'm like, God, this seems so phony to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's our summer preview. Anything
Yeah.
out of this group that we're dying to see?
Well, the MCU, the Marvel movies,
Yeah.
obviously. Endgame, I probably, like you said, I'm super excited for. Far From Home. And I want to see Ma.
And I want to see Midsommar.
I do too. That's going to be awesome.
So, there weren't a lot that actually, there were not a lot of movies that jumped out at me.
No.
There are a lot of, this is no different. We expect this now. There are a lot of sequels and remakes, but it felt like everything was almost. There's a few originals in there for sure, but man, like whole like months are sequels and remakes at times.
Yeah. Last summer was a really good summer, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the whole last year was great, but this summer was great. I feel like this summer's lacking action. Like, there's no Mission Impossible
Yeah.
or Bourne, or we do have that Hobbs and Shaw, but there's usually 3 tentpole-ish action films, and it feels like we're veering more.
I guess John Wick 3 fits that bill too.
I suppose so, yeah.
But
Are those movies still cheap to make? Do you
John
think?
Wick?
Yeah.
They've gotten more expensive.
But that article that we all read, it talks about how they they could only do the long shots because they only had one camera.
Well, and the stuntman in the first John Wick, I love that story. Like, the first guy you see John Wick kill is the same as the last guy you see him kill, because he gets up when the camera turns and runs around and get in a position and beat the guy in the neck. It's all the same shot. That's fascinating, but they haven't had that small a budget since the second one started rolling. They don't have to do that anymore.
there are a few. There's a few originals in here that I want to watch, but I'm not sure I'll go to the theater to watch. Like Booksmart and Brightburn. I may want to watch Ma in theaters. Late Night was another one we brought up. And then after that, maybe Yesterday.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's a definite.
So there are a few sprinkled in. It's just hard to tell because of all the noise sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that'll do it for this episode. Go to SinCast presented by CinemaSins on Facebook and tell us what you're excited about this summer. What are you going to watch this summer?
What's your story?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about your dad.
Yeah, let's talk about your dad. Do you think he's an overcomer?
Hey, by the way,
obviously he's not, or you wouldn't be here. Boom.
Nice. We've got something very cool coming at you guys soon.
Yeah. You want a preview?
So next month, a few days from when you listen to when this posts, it's going to be Mental Health Awareness Month. We're partnering with Mental Health America again. We're going to be selling T-shirts in our Teespring store. It is Teespring, right? Mm-hmm. That all of the proceeds will go to Mental Health America. It's a very cool thing that you guys were even doing before I was involved with you guys. And it's going to be super fun. You're going to see a video on our channel. We're going to be talking about this very often throughout the month of May, and it's going to be awesome. Also, we are going to do a podcast that is focused on the show Barry.
Mm-hmm.
The HBO show starring Bill Hader and Stephen Root and Henry Winkler. I have become obsessed with this show. Chris is very well versed in the show. Our buddy Mike Hester is very familiar with this show, and we are going to kick off the first 2 episodes coming at you soon, and more to come later on. I am so excited about this podcast because I fucking love this show.
So, in addition to SinCast presented by CinemaSins on Facebook, you can also go to SoundCloud. You can go to Reddit. You can go to CinemaSins Twitter. We have Discord for that's split between our Patreon members and general audience. You can also go to Patreon as well. There are a lot of places to come and talk about this very episode.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that'll do it for this week. It's Chris Atkinson, Jeremy Scott, and Barrett Sher. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. Comment on our episodes on our SoundCloud page. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit. And be sure to visit CinemaSins.com.
I almost tweeted out before the game, time to find out if I'm disappointed in my team's season or if I have to wait 2 days to be disappointed in my team's season.
Right. I mean, that's exactly what...
It has to be.
That's exactly what I was sitting there imagining.
It has to be.
A dude jerking off to our videos. I did love how Twitter blew up when Arya had her sex scene.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Is there anything? She's supposed to be like 18 in the show.
Supposed to be
right?
18 in the show, but she's 22 in real life.
I thought she was like fairly, of age,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, she's of age.
No.
It's the deal where like everybody looked at her as their daughter.
You've identified with her as a child because you've watched
but she's obviously like just fully grown into an adult by the time it's,
She's killed people, right?
Yeah, but I mean, she's killed people when she was, what we consider a minor as well. She killed then too.
What's funny is that when the actress got that script, she thought it was a joke. Like the showrunners have historically, once or twice a season, sent an actor a fake script as a gag, as a prank with like some outlandish scene, and she thought that was hers. And she said, "Ha ha, you got me." And they were like, "Oh no, we're not doing that this season. That's real."
Oh wow!
And then she was like, "I better go to the gym."
Yeah, you better go to the gym.
I thought it was an awesome scene.
No, it was a great scene, and
she was in charge too, man.
Yeah,
I think that was the point. I think people are focusing on the wrong thing. Like I've seen some criticism, both because we think of her as our daughter, but also I've seen some people suggesting that belittled the character to make her right before I die urge sexual. And I've seen the counter of that saying she's never been a traditional quote unquote feminine type character, but she's still allowed to want sex.
Yeah.
She's still, but I thought the point of the whole thing, sex or not, was the whole episode. Every scene she has with him, she's in charge. Because at the end of that first scene, she's like, "My weapon?" And he's like, "I'm on it. I'm on it."
Yeah. Oh yeah. And of course, there's there's also the other hidden part of it. Like, you could be so shocked or so like glad that she did all this type of stuff that you can forget that there could be a royal baby brewing.
There could be a few royal babies brewing, and we should stop talking Game of Thrones and record a CinemaSins podcast.
Is there one person out there that didn't do it?
That's fucked up. Worst wrong laugh. Oh, I feel guilty already.
I know.